Hi, welcome to our channel of IGNOU Audiobooks, 3 Indira Gandhi National Open University School of Education, SOE. Postgraduate Diploma in Pre-Primary Education, PGDPPED. MES 08 to Human Development During Early Childhood. Block-1 Human Growth and Development. Unit 1 Basic Concept of Growth and Development. 1.1 Introduction. 5. The present form of our being is a result of the changes that take place in our body and also due to the influence of environmental factors. By examining the way individuals develop, from conception to the old age, we can learn about the patterns of growth and development in a better way. This information helps in understanding how others respond to various stimuli received by them and to meet their needs. As a teacher, this understanding about the developmental patterns will help you to choose age-appropriate teaching methods and also in providing instruction according to the developmental needs of your learners. This is the FTRST unit of this course, which will introduce you with basic concepts of growth and development. We shall discuss the need for the systematic study of the developmental needs and the ways teacher can use to facilitate growth and development. You will learn about how life begins, the mechanism of heredity, differences between growth and development and principles of growth and development. The influences of various factors on the development of the child will also discussed. 1.2 Objectives. After going through this unit, you should be able to times understand the meaning growth and development. Times explain the major principles of growth and development. Times discuss about different aspects of development. Times explain the factors affecting growth and development. Times develop a broad frame of activities for the overall development of children. 1.3 Concepts of growth and development. If you recall events from your childhood or observe children, you will find that development in an individual is never static. There are continuous progressive changes in response to environmental conditions, the body organs and psychological functions. Cognitive abilities of an individual progresses in their functions, reaches a peak and then declines. How human beings grow, change and adjust themselves to their environment is the focus of development. The term growth refers to the dimensional augmentation, cellular multiplication or quantitative changes in size, weight and number. Growth leads to increase in size of an individual brought about by the interaction between two important factors, i.e., heredity and environment. Let us understand these terms. By heredity, we mean the traits that a child receives from the ancestors through the chromosomes, whereas environment refers to all those factors that influence the child other than the heredity, which includes home environment, school environment, peers, etc. Let us now go through some definitions to broaden the understanding about growth and development. Crow and crow-deft growth as to structural and physiological changes, while development refers to growth as well as changes in behavior. Eve B. Herlock defined development as the progressive series of changes that occur in an orderly predictable pattern as a result of maturation and experience. Thus, from the above definitions, it is clear that development is qualitative change taking place simultaneously with quantitative changes of growth. It may be defined as a progressive series of orderly, coherent changes. The term progressive signifies that changes are directional, that they lead forward rather than backward. Orderly and coherent suggest that there is a definite relationship between the changes taking place and those that precede or will follow them. Development represents changes in an individual from its origin to its death, but more particularly the progressive changes which take place from origin to maturity. In order to understand Both the terms more clearly differentiate the terms. 1.3.1 Difference between growth and development. Most often, you will find both the terms with growth and development being used interchangeably. As it has been explained earlier, growth is sheer increase in size, height, weight, power, etc. Whereas development refers to changes in structure, form or shape and improvement in functioning. Apart from this difference, there are other differences. Let us discuss them as follows. Look at the screen. 1.3.2 Characteristics of growth. From the above discussion, it is clear that both the terms are different. There are certain characteristics of the process of growth. Let us now understand them. A. Growth proceeds more rapidly in the early years of life. B. The rate of growth is not uniform, i.e., the growth occurs at a rapid rate during the infancy stage and during adolescence. C. Growth is a gradual process. D. Growth is cumulative in nature. By cumulative, it means that the earlier stages act as a base for the later growth of an individual. The changes that occur during childhood are the result of the abilities and skills that a child acquired during the infancy stage. E. Growth follows definite sequence and has a predictable pattern. If you observe any child, you will find that the growth follows the general pattern, especially in the development of different abilities and skills. For e.g., the stages of development are in the order infancy, childhood, adolescence, adulthood and old age. Parents and teachers can predict the expected changes that might occur at each stages. 1. Growth is not uniform in all individuals. There exist individual differences in growth. You can observe variations in growth of children among the same age group. 1.4 Need of understanding principles of growth and development. People have various ideas about how development takes place, what are the various factors influencing it. All these questions led to studying the principles of growth and development. Let us understand them in detail. A. For understanding the patterns of development. Knowledge about the developmental patterns, their nature and causes of variations in the development of children is essential for both scientific and practical reasons. This knowledge helps in finding out what to expect from a child. It will us to also help you know approximately at what age behavioral changes take place and when these patterns are generally replaced by more mature patterns. This is significant because if too much is expected from children, they develop a feeling of inadequacy. On the other hand, if too little is expected of them, they do not have an incentive to realize their potential. Knowing exactly what to expect from children enables development psychologists, teachers and parents to set guidelines in the form of height-weight scales, age-weight scales, age-height scales, mental age scales, and social or emotional development scales. If there is any deviation observed from normal development, then it is essential to find out the causes and so that appropriate intervention can be planned. B. For providing appropriate learning experiences. It will also help you as a teacher to guide the child's learning properly. A child must be helped to acquire age-appropriate skills. If learning opportunities are not provided at the appropriate time, then it can delay the normal development of the child. When the development pattern is normal, one stage prepares children for and leads them effectively into the next stage. C. For understanding individual differences. Though, you may observe that a pattern of development is common to all individuals, but no two children are alike. They vary in their likes, dislikes, preferences, interests, skills and abilities, and these are known as individual differences. Individual. Differences refer to variations in child's personality, skills and attitudes. The understanding of individual differences helps us realize that every child is different and should not be compared with others. Some of the factors which might contribute to the individual differences may include genetic makeup, constitutional factors such as health and energy, environment of the home and school, etc. The understanding of these factors would also help you to analyze the reasons behind the difference between two children. D. Understanding behavior. The way an individual reacts to success and failure, faces challenges and relates to others can be accounted for by the experiences in the early years of life. This knowledge about the development principles will also help you as a teacher and parent to prepare the child psychologically for the physical and behavioral changes that would occur as they grow up. In fact, in this matter, the role of the school environment is crucial. Since now you have understood the importance of understanding the principles of growth and development, let us go through in detail about these principles in the next section. 1.5 Principles of Growth and Development. These principles are the result of the scientific observations of children for the long years, which enable parents and teachers to know how children grow and develop at different stages. Let us go through the major principles of growth and development. A. Principle of continuous development. As you know that development is a continuous and lifelong process, it starts right from conception till the death. If you observe the development of language or the social development of an individual, you will see that it continues throughout the life. Children change rapidly as they step up to new level of development, and with each new step, the child interprets and responds to the world in qualitatively different way. Can you imagine what is the purpose of this continuity? If you analyze the continuity of development, then you will find that it is this continuity that helps an individual to adjust properly with the changing circumstances. But what will happen if development comes to standstill at a particular stage? Well, if development becomes standstill, normal development of the child will not possible. For example, then if language development ceases at age of 5 or 6 years, the child cannot lead a normal life. This is sum in the case with all other aspects of development. B. Principle of orderly sequence. If you observe the development of any individual, you will find that it follows an orderly sequence. For e.g., each child stands before SLHE walks, makes babbling sounds before he talks. This orderly sequence can be seen in the case of the stages of development also. For example, the growth and development of the child can be divided into the following order, i.e., infancy, childhood, adolescence, adulthood, old age, etc. C. Principle of unique development. Just observe the individuals around. You will find that each one of them are different under different dimensions. Some may be intelligent, others may be slow learners, some may be talkative, others may be aggressive, etc. These differences existing among each individual can be termed as the uniqueness of development. Different aspects of development undergoes unique pattern that makes each and every one different from one another. What may be the possible reason for this uniqueness? This uniqueness is due to the differences in the hereditary and environmental factors. Each child receives different hereditary and environmental conditions that makes them unique and different. D. Principle of interrelation. If you observe the different aspects of development, like physical, emotional, intellectual, social, linguistic, etc., you will find that they are interrelated. Social development of a child is influenced by his/her language development. You will find a child with good social development will be emotionally adjusted. Similarly, you can see that children who are superior in the development of language abilities are superior in intellectual area also. Principle of interaction of heredity, nature, and environment, nurture. Each individual is product of interaction between heredity and environment. A child born with rich intellectual background cannot become full-fledged personality if he/she does not get suitable environmental conditions. Similarly, there is least chance of development if you provide better environmental conditions in the form of schooling to a child who does not inherited a good intellectual ability. There exists a controversy regarding whether the heredity, nature, or environment nurture as the determining factor in the growth and development of the child. We will learn more about it in the third unit of this block. 1. Principle of interaction of maturation and learning. Growth and development is a result of both maturation and learning. Maturation refers to the development due to unfolding and ripening of abilities, characteristics, traits, potentialities present at birth. Maturation sets the timetable for development. You know that as the child grows, many abilities are acquired without any sort of training, like the ability to crawl, creep, sit, walk, etc. Many such abilities are acquired by the child as he/she passes through different stages in life. This is due to the process of maturation. There are still controversies regarding the development of motor skill, i.e., whether it is due to maturation alone or due to both maturation and experiences. Wayne and Marcena Dennis, 1940, studied about the age of walking among Hopi Indians. Some Hopi mothers bound their infants to cradle boards throughout the day and night, whereas others had given up this practice. Even though the cradle board babies could not move their arms, trunk, and legs, they walked at the same age as unbound children. So, from this study you can deduce that of some abilities cannot attain certain age level, or in other words, some abilities develop in children as they reach at that particular age due to the process of maturation. G. Principle of proceeding from general to specific responses. If you observe children closely, you will find that different aspects of personality follows general to specific pattern. General responses occur first and specific later on. For e.g., before exhibiting the responses like grasping or reaching out, the baby starts waving his/her arms in general random movement. Similarly, when a newborn infant cries, Shelhe involves whole body in this act. Gradually, as Shelhe grows older, the crying is limited to vocal cords, facial expressions, and eyes only. Similarly, in case of language development, a child first uses some general patterns of responses before reaching at the specific responses. For e.g., in the early stages, the children call all men as daddy and all women as mummy, but as he grows older, they call daddy and mummy to his/her own parents only. H. Principle of cephalocaudal and proximo-distal trend, principle of developmental direction. This principle is based on the directions of development. The development proceeds in two directions, which are as follows. I. Proximodistal trend. Proximodistal means an organized pattern of physical growth and motor control that proceeds from the center of the body to distant parts. You can say that parts of the body near the center develop before the extremities. For example, the child first gains control over the large fundamental muscles of the arm and the hand, and then only over the smaller muscles of the body. It is clear from the hand movements of children. You can also observe that the children exert control over their finger muscles only once they gain control over their large muscles in the hand. 2. Cephalocaudal trend. According to cephalocaudal tendency, development proceeds in the direction of the longitudinal axis, i.e., head to foot. Cephalic means related to head and caudal means tail. You might have noticed that before standing, the child first gains control over his head and arms and then only her legs. Principle of predictability. The uniform pattern growth and development help in forecasting the general behavior of the child. More than this, by looking at the X-rays of the wrist bones of a child, it is possible for the doctors to predict about the size of the child. We find similar prediction being made by parents and teachers by looking at their own children. For example, a mother can make some predictions regarding the stage at which her Sanjay daughter will crawl, stand, walk, speak, etc. This prediction is possible because of the observations made by the mother. Likely by analyzing the academic achievement and aptitude test results, teacher can also predict about the expected future performance of a child. But these predictions will become futile only if the child get the suitable environmental conditions. D. Principle of spiral versus linear development. If you observe a child in your class, you will find that development never follows a constant or steady pace. At particular stage of development, there is a period of rest for consolidation of the developmental progress achieved. In advancing further, development turns back and then moves forwards again in a spiral fashion. You might have observed that the growth and development of the child is at a rapid rate during the infancy stage, and then it slows during early childhood. Again increases during middle childhood, which again declines during the later childhood. As she enter the adolescence stage, it again increases at a rapid rate. 1.6 Stages of development. Any development process proceeds through some stages, and each development stage differs from the other on the basis of their characteristics. Psychologists, for the sake of convenience, have separated human lifespan into stages or periods and identified specific changes that may be expected during each stage. The transition from one stage to another is gradual rather than sudden. The age groups assigned to each stage of the development are general as shown in Table 1.1. Table 1.1 Stages of development. Look at the screen. Let us now understand briefly about the major characteristics of these stages. The period from birth to 2 years is referred as the period of infancy. During this period, the child is totally dependent on the caregiver for the fulfillment of his/her needs. Soon, the development and growth become very rapid, and by the end of infancy he is able to walk, run, communicate his/her needs verbally, feed herself, identify family members, recognize herself and venture confidently in the surroundings. The next stage is known as childhood, which ranges from 2 to 12 years of age. Development at this stage is not as rapid as during infancy. During this period, the child refines the skills he has acquired during infancy and learns new skills as well. During this stage, he also learns the ways of behavior that are considered appropriate by the society. As the child grows, their thinking capacities matures. They start playing on a swing, make a house from sand, draw, paint, or sing a song. This gives them a feeling of confidence. During this period, he becomes more independent, though adult guidance is constantly needed. This period of childhood is further divided into 2 substages: the period of early childhood, 2 to 6 years, and middle childhood, 6 to 12 years. The period of early Childhood is also referred to as the preschool age because at this age the child is learn skills that will help him later to do tasks associated with schooling. At this stage, children develop concepts about numbers, colors, shapes. They enjoy playing games that require them to pretend. After some time they start playing independently again, though they may be with each other. During the preschool period, mental intellectual development is characterized by the rapid expansion of cognitive abilities. Children become more curious and eager to seek information, keep it in order and use it. Whereas, sensory motor processes largely dominate development during infancy, a significant transition occurs after 2 years of age towards more abstract. By the time children are 6 years old, they have developed a set of cognitive skills. Language development enriches during this period. Language development begins with howling, babbling, and iteration. According to Piaget, language emerges only at the end of the sensory motor period of intellectual development. Chomsky believes that the language acquisition device is an inborn mental structure that enables children to induce grammatical rules and to form their own language from those rules. The inborn language acquisition device directs the children's ability to learn. The next stage is referred to as the period of adolescence, 12 to 18 years. The beginning of this period is marked by puberty. Puberty refers to the stage around 11 to 14 years of age, when there is a spurt in physical growth. This results in a rapid increase in height and weight and the emergence of secondary sexual characteristics. Examples of these are the development of facial hair in boys and development of breasts in girls. The onset of puberty is earlier for girls than for boys, and these rapid physical changes lead to a need for emotional readjustment. At this age, the peer group becomes very important and the adolescent follows the rules and the codes of his/her group. Feelings of loyalty and pride for the group becomes very strong. At times, the values of the peer group may become more important than those of the family. There are conflicting expectations from adolescent. Sometimes they are expected to behave as an adult and at other times they are treated like a child. This makes adolescent irritated. During adolescence, thinking develops further and becomes more complex. The individual can now understand and deal with varied situations. SLHE can think of abstract problems and work out their solutions. All this helps them to prepare for the roles and responsibilities expected to carry out as an adult. Between the age of 18 years to 40, it is a period of adulthood. There may be different criteria for considering a person an adult, which include ability to support oneself economically, getting money and starting a family. There are also social and legal definitions of adulthood. For example, an Indian can vote in the elections at 18 years. Legally, girls may get married at 18 years and boys at 21 years of age. By now, physical changes are complete and the person is mature. It is important to remember that these divisions of the lifespan are not rigid. It is not as if the child suddenly changes from an infant to a preschooler or from a child to an adolescent. Change is a gradual and continuous process, and transition from one phase of life to another will be different for every individual. You will read in details about the stages of development in the later part this course. 1.6.1 Factors influencing growth and development. The growth and development of a child is influenced by two major factors: heredity and environment. Heredity is an inherent quality or tendency, while environment includes all the factors that surround an individual. You will learn more about this in detail in the of this block Unit 3. 1.7 Importance of early childhood. The periods of infancy and early childhood have been acknowledged as the most significant in the life of an individual. What are the reasons for this? Firstly, research has shown that the first few years of life influence the ways of thinking, times, and behavior of individuals. Secondly, as you have understood in the earlier part of the unit, the rate of development in all areas, physical, cognitive, language, social and emotional, is the most rapid during these years. In this period it is possible to learn skills which become difficult at a later age, and learning at this stage prepares the child for adulthood. The preparation for adult roles also begins in childhood, partly as a result of direct teaching by the parents and partly a result of observation and imitation of adults by children. Thirdly, since development is proceeding at a very fast rate, unfavorable experiences such as lack of adequate food, nurturance and care, unhealthy living conditions, sickness, lack of interaction with adults or exploitative working conditions will hinder development to a considerable extent. In the same way, favorable experiences will foster development. Thus, both favorable and unfavorable experiences will have a strong impact during this period. It is, therefore, important that the child has a minimum of harmful experiences. The foundations of feelings of security and confidence are also laid in the early years. The above discussion is an overview of the importance of the periods of infancy and early childhood. 1.8 Summary. This unit dealt with the concept, growth and development, and also discussed the principles of growth and development. You have understood that growth is the process which starts even before birth and came to an end after the attainment of maturity, whereas development is a lifelong and hence a continuous process. Growth and development is guided by a number of general principles which have been discussed. We have also discussed the importance of understanding the development patterns for developing knowledge about behavior of an individual. It was stressed in the unit that description about the characteristics of different stages help in describing various developmental needs. The importance of early childhood period has also been discussed in the unit, which will be helpful for you as a teacher in planning the activities. Thank you.